What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark, and today we're looking at some more r/mi the butthole. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe, just maybe, that notification bell too, as it all really helps out our channel. It really does. And don't forget, you can follow us on podcast too now, so you can take us with you wherever you go. And also you can support the channel either through YouTube membership by clicking the join button below, or heading on over to Patreon, where you can join up with various tiers and different things like that, basically. And a huge thank you to each and every one of you for being here. Your support is truly appreciated. Your watch time, your views, your liking, everything. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. And with that being said, let's get in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from Sassy Mum. Am I the arsehole for publicly shaming my husband for how he treats our son? My husband and I have 3 children together. They are 9 female, 7 female and 4 female. For the most part, my husband is a loving father and he absolutely dotes on our girls. Our son is another story. He is very sensory sensitive, and the littlest things can set him off, like a scratchy shirt tag or an extreme temperature. I've tried to educate myself on sensory issues and make accommodations for him, but my husband is not willing to do so. He thinks I baby him and enable his bad behaviour. There have been times my husband has insisted I've forced my son to stay outside, despite his obvious discomfort in the heat, or make him take his shoes off at the beach even though sand overwhelms him. Both times resulted in total meltdowns. Last weekend we took a family trip and it was the last straw. My husband had our girls in the pool and he was tossing them in. They were laughing and having a good time. My son was in the shallow end with just his lower legs in the water. My husband thought it'd be funny to sneak up behind him and push him into the water. He was wearing a life vest, but the sudden feeling of his head going underwater and his hair becoming wet was too much for him. He was wailing and I had to get him out of the pool. He had a complete meltdown that lasted over 30 minutes. I took him back to the hotel room to calm down, and my husband told me I shouldn't have done that. He said that he will never toughen up and stop being a baby if I keep running to his rescue. He yelled at our son for embarrassing him at the pool and refused to allow him an ice cream later with the girls. I was furious at his behaviour, so I got on Facebook and ranted about all the times our husband has favoured the girls and made our son feel unloved. Now his mother and sisters are mad at him, and he's pissed at me for putting our private life on Facebook. Am I the arsehole for publicly shaming my husband on Facebook for how he treats our son? Now I know many children have like sensory issues and I'm well aware of that. I'm not sure, I imagine there's several different things that can cause it. I'm not sure if autism does it, can cause sensory issues or not. I think it does if I remember correctly, but don't jump on me on that one. I'm just taking a guess there. I'm not totally sure. I need to educate myself on that one. But clearly that little one needs some help, needs some assistance to deal with whatever he's going through right now. And the way they're dealing with it makes them both suck in this situation, because they're not dealing with this head on, they're just dancing around it. And the husband is an absolute arsehole for the way he's treating the son. There's no way he should be doing that in any way, shape or form. But then OP does suck for airing all their dirty laundry on Facebook. I mean, that's one of my pet peeves. I mean, I love seeing a bit of drama on Facebook, but at the same time, I'm judging them. I'm saying, you can't be posting this shit on Facebook. Just take it off. No one wants to see this. No one wants to see your family drama all over Facebook. Deal with that between yourselves, you know. But let's go down in the comments to see what we can find. Llama Mia Let Me Go says, everyone sucks here. Your son needs a therapist. Your husband needs a therapist, and to stop bullying a 4-year-old. But literally blasting your family on Facebook? Yeah, you're an asshole too. Gangster Napper says, everyone sucks here. Your husband is abusing a neurodivergent child, and you're going to Facebook about it instead of a therapist and divorce lawyer. If your husband can get his shit all the way together and work on repairing the damage he's done to his relationship with his son, as well as educate himself and radically change his behaviour right fucking now, you need to leave. Savbav says, everyone sucks here. Being surprised and thrown in the water like that is not only wrong, it can be traumatizing, sensory issues or not. A half-hour meltdown is pretty typical for any 4-year-old thrown into that situation. Your son may have a hard time approaching swimming pools or bodies of water in the future. Your husband's lack of any awareness and compassion for your son's needs is concerning. You are also in the wrong for blasting the issue on Facebook. Facebook is not the platform to get familial issues fixed, but marriage and family therapy is. Find a therapist for both you so you can learn to communicate effectively. This will also help your husband learn better ways of teaching his only son how to handle his sensory issues in a loving manner. Your son could also benefit from therapy teaching management skills for his sensory issues. And once again guys, I turn it to you. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on the poll in the description for story 1. Our next story is from Oh Yikes 16873. Am I the arsehole for refusing to take care of my brother when we're older? My 14 female older brother, 17 male, has nocturnal epilepsy. My mum watches him like a hawk. She even has one of those baby monitors so she can check on him without getting up. My brother takes a med called Vimpat, which has no side effects on him. I don't speak for everyone though, but my mum blames everything that's wrong with him on that. He's about average in school, B's and C's, which is his own fault. He is really smart, he just doesn't ever study, and he gets into arguments with teachers because he doesn't want to do his homework. Basically my whole life is themed around him. I got straight A's, but instead of a reward, my mum pulled me aside and asked me not to say anything because she didn't want to make my brother feel bad. My mum babies him constantly, he knows nothing of the real world. I'm not saying I'm a child genius, but at least I can name all 7 continents. And yes, he has been tested for learning disabilities, and he's completely fine. He's nice most of the time, but he gets really mean sometimes for no reason. He also never remembers to take his meds, and it's my job to make sure. I do stuff for him on the daily, like for some reason he always wants to take the bus to school. I don't, because there's a bunch of creepy dudes from my school on that bus, and it makes me really uncomfortable. I have to ride the bus with him because I have to make sure he stays awake, but he never tries to stay awake. Whenever I try to wake him up, he yells at me. Last night I was talking to my mum, and she said she's so lucky to have a responsible daughter to take care of him when he moves out. I kinda laughed and said there's no way I'm taking care of him. Apparently my mum wants to rent an apartment for us when I go to college so I can watch him and make sure he takes his meds, but I honestly cannot wait to get away from my family. I love them, but we honestly don't fit well, and I think I'll be better off alone. But my mum got really angry and said of course I'm going to take care of him, but I said he really doesn't need to be taken care of because millions of people around the world live with what he has and do it alone. Now my mum is super pissed at me and called me a selfish arsehole. Am I the arsehole? Edit, remembering to make him take his meds at night is pretty easy because I also have to take my meds for asthma and allergies, but remembering to get him to take his meds in the morning is harder. I have an alarm on my phone so it will wake me up. Girl, you're 14 years old. How is this your responsibility? This is all your parents. This is all down to your parents. It's ridiculous that they're expecting you to take care of a 17-year-old to make sure they take their meds and not fall asleep. I mean, what the fuck? And then your mum wants you to move in with him. That's just crazy. So I'm going to have to say, not the arsehole in this situation, obviously. And let's go down into the comments to see what we can find. Glitter Brownie says, not the arsehole, your parents should be taking care of their own kid, not forcing you to. Maselli says, exactly, not the arsehole at all. OP needs to be able to enjoy their own childhood and have her parents take care of their brother. Mad Sai says, not the arsehole, you are not your brother's parent. You have your own life, and it sounds like your parents are doing a shit job at parenting both of you. You shouldn't be forced to grow up sooner, nor should you have your achievements and dreams tossed to the side like that. Round Robin says, not the arsehole. Also, what's he going to do while you're in class or working? And if he's older, is he going to go to college? I don't understand why your mother thinks you should be an additional parent to your older brother. OP then replies, there's a local college near where I live that's free for 2 years if you graduate from the local high school. Plan is for him to go there for 3 years, then transfer to another school. Ah, wow. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 2. And our next story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for pointing out that my sister is now the fat one? I, currently 26 male, made a huge mistake when I was in high school and started stress eating absurd amounts of food. Consequently, I gained a lot of weight and went from being on the low side of normal weight to being obese. My eating habits didn't change for years, so I was obese through high school and college. Throughout that entire period, my family members used this opportunity to attack me for my weight, even though none of them are healthy and athletic themselves. My sister, who is 2 years younger than I am, was particularly rude about this and constantly called me fat and ugly for years. She used to call me by the names of fat characters from movies, claim that I was any fat character from any commercial or TV show, and make fun of me anytime I ate anything unhealthy. For this and several other reasons now that I've moved out. I've minimised my interactions with her and only have to talk to her when we're both at home at the same time for holidays. 2 years ago, I, with the support of friends here, made a commitment to being healthier so that I could be happier about myself. And through a lot of dieting and intense exercising, I lost all my excess weight and went back to being on the low side of normal. I now exercise every single day, I'm very calorie and carb conscious. I weigh my food before I eat it now because I found that measuring cups were not accurate, and try to eat at least 30 grams of protein with every meal. I'm also strength training now. When I went home to see my family last winter, they were all shocked at how much weight I had lost, and while my parents were happy for me, my sister was irritated. She kept commenting on my refusal to eat carbs, desserts and snacks, and also started saying that I should write a best-selling book about how I lost so much weight. At that point I got frustrated and noticed I now weigh less than her, so I returned the favour and asked her if she was just mad that she was now the fat one. She immediately got mad and started screaming at me before running off to complain to my mum. Am I the arsehole? Now, I don't agree with fat shaming in any sense whatsoever. It's just damaging to anyone. But at the same time, if you're going to give it, you have to be able to take it, my friend. We're going to move straight down into the comments with this one to see what we can find. Mustblood says pretty much the same as me. Not the arsehole. Simple. Don't give it if you can't take it. Edit. Also, you shouldn't be made to feel guilty for your weight loss. Congrats. Cheeselord121 says, not the arsehole. This is karma for the mockery. Good job on being a good weight and changing your weight rather than complain about others while being fat yourself. ACMXI says, not the arsehole. In my opinion, she does seem to be just mad that the roles have swapped and now she's the fat one. But since it's a sibling thing, not the arsehole. Drunk on Martini says, not the arsehole. I figure that you got one free shot at her for being so terrible when you were kids. However, keep that in mind and don't start acting like a kid now because you think you deserve to bully her or something. You're more mature than that. Stay low contact and keep doing you, OP. And that is too true. And once again guys, I turn it to you. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 3. And our next story comes from Admirable Seaworthy. Would I be the arsehole if I didn't tell my ex-wife's boyfriend, her affair partner, that she claims she is pregnant with my child? My judgment isn't the best when it comes to my ex. We were college sweethearts, so there's always going to be feelings that could cloud my judgment. I can't deny them or the fact that I still love her, even if I'm not in love with her. We married a few years after graduation. Things were good for a long time, but soon we ran into typical issues a lot of couples face. Issues with finances, stress from jobs, kids, and taking each other for granted. We gradually grew apart and I failed to recognise she was pulling away. By the time I recognised it, she had already fallen for another man, current boyfriend. When I confronted her, she claimed they were only having an emotional affair and denied sleeping with him. I don't know if I believe that even now, but she was certain she wanted a divorce and moved in with him not long after the confrontation. I was devastated and tried to win her back, but she had already moved in by that point and was focused on building a new life together with her new man. She said she didn't want to try and make things work and would not consider counselling, so I decided the best thing I could do was accept her decision and try to make our split amicable for the sake of our kids. We divorced but remained on the friendliest terms we could, all things considered. About 10 months after the divorce was finalised, she came back and said she'd made a mistake. I didn't believe her and didn't respond, but she kept contacting me and asking me to give things another try. I eventually agreed to see her and we ended up sleeping together. That was almost 5 months ago, and she now tells me she is pregnant with my baby. We've been sleeping together frequently since that first time, so it's definitely plausible. She claims she is 100% sure it's mine because I only finished inside her and she didn't sleep with her boyfriend or anyone else at all during the conception window. She says she will give me a DNA test as soon as possible, but wants to try and make things work and attend counselling until we can do the DNA test. If the test comes back negative, she promises she will leave me alone and accept we are over. I'm conflicted about what to do. I have no guarantee that it is my child and no guarantee that it isn't. I have no plans to get back together with her, but she says that if I abandon her, i.e. refuse to give things another try, then she'll go back to her boyfriend and have the child with him. I badly want to just ignore her and assume it's his and let him deal with it. He wanted her so she can be his problem. Would I be the arsehole if I didn't tell him and decided not to have anything more to do with what she claims is my baby? It may be relevant to note we have 2 kids together. Oh my god. This is almost like too much for Am I the Arsehole? I mean, surely he must know about this previous relationship she's had, which I would say everyone sucks here because this is just one hell of a messed up situation, but it would make it even worse if it was your kid in the end and you abandoned that child. That would make you a major arsehole in this story. We're going to go down in the comments to see what we can find now. But the preacher says, Jesus Christ, this may be better for r/relationships, or better yet, talking to a licensed counsellor. I don't feel like I can even touch this. OP says, it's a lot to process. Javi Swag said, you would be the arsehole if you didn't get a DNA test to see if the child was yours. Not an arsehole for telling the boyfriend, because that is not your responsibility at all. Unless of course you did get the test and the kid turns out to be yours. She can tell him on her own, or wait for the DNA results. You can't just abandon your kid because your ex is terrible. In the case where the kid turns out to be yours. Also, that would not be a secret that can be kept long term, and you are right to worry that all of your kids would be very upset for you for being a deadbeat when the truth finally came out. OP then replies again saying, that was my thought, likely they're going to be close with their sibling. If they are, and God forbid the boyfriend ends up being a bad father, I can see my kids blaming me for whatever their sibling goes through. I'm in a no-win situation. Artist Dude Mahap says, you're the arsehole. If you don't get a paternity test to see if the kid is yours, you'll be denying yourself and your child a relationship if she is being honest. You chose to have sex with her and not to be safe, so if she's pregnant with your kid, then the child is your responsibility too. Also, you're all assholes for this cheating triangle mess. Absolutely. And once again guys, I'm going to turn it to you. What do you guys think of this situation? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on the poll in the description for story 4. And our next story is from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for telling my husband everything, even when my children ask me not to? I, 46 female, tell my husband, 57 male, everything. We prefer to be open and honest with each other and enjoy this aspect of our relationship. This includes things our 4 children tell us individually, as we care about our children and want to help them together as partners. Sometimes our children disagree with this principle, but they are fully aware that anything I hear I will tell my husband. My husband isn't the emotional type, so usually my children confide in me when they're having a problem. The issue at hand. One of my daughters, 17 female, was updating me on how her therapy sessions were going. She confided in me in regarding mental health issues, which she and my eldest daughter, 22 female, struggle with. We had a great talk until she asked me not to tell her father what she had just told me. I told her she knows that I tell her father everything and that she can't expect me to keep important things from him. She got annoyed and tried to make me promise not to tell him, but I told her I couldn't do that. That's not how our relationship works. When she realised I wasn't backing down, she said, "This is why eldest daughter doesn't tell you anything." This broke my heart. My eldest daughter is estranged from our family and claims that my refusal to be confidential is one of the reasons why we have a poor relationship. I just don't see why my children can't accept that my husband and I are life partners and need to know everything about each other and our families. Am I the arsehole for this? I mean, I'm afraid you've got to be there. I can understand where you're coming from, that you want to share everything and work together to help your family, but at the same time I think some things just need to be kept a secret. If they're confiding in you their secrets, you need to keep them, otherwise you're just going to lose them. It really is that simple, I think. We'll go down to the comments straight away and see what we can find, because I can't really comment more than that on this, I don't think. What the fuck What the fuck says, you're the arsehole, so you already lost a daughter to this and you're continuing to do it. I'm surprised your daughters tell you anything at all. Breaking their trust like that is horrible. Admiral Judgment says, you're the arsehole, and then quotes, I just don't see why my children can't accept my husband and I are life partners and need to know everything about each other and our families. Then says, you don't need to know everything about everyone. Your children have repeatedly told you that. You need to read Boundaries, Where You End and I Begin, to learn the basics of boundaries. And then quotes again, I told her that I couldn't do that. That's not how our relationship works. And then says, you sound codependent and meshed with your husband, and even though you know your attitude is unacceptable to your children, you keep it up. That's not how good parenting works. Kogel says, you're the arsehole. If it is that important to your children that they want to tell you something without their father, respect that or understand they will stop telling you stuff. You don't get to have it both ways, and if you were my mum, I wouldn't tell you anything either. And for the final time, I turn it to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 5. Anyway guys, thank you for being here once again. The time out your day and the support you've given me just recently is, you know, I say it every time, but it blows me away. You're absolutely incredible people. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here. And you know, just thank you. And I will see you in the next one. Much love, guys.